In today's episode of the Pathway Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with David Doughty, who's hailing over as a director of marketing at Integrated Computer Systems. They work with the Athena product suite, and today we want to really figure out what it's all about, and also how David is thinking about growth for the company. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Very good. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about ICS and Athena. What's it all about? What you guys are doing? Who are you serving? Who's benefiting?
Sure. Well, Integrated Computer Systems, or ICS, what we generally call it, is a public safety software company, and it was established in '75, which oddly enough was the same year that the first personal computer was released. So back then, ICS didn't sound so generic as it might sound today. We have developed 5 products that natively integrate with each other. The first 4 are part of the Athena suite, which include a computer-aided dispatch software, a records management system, a mobile data client, and an incident command. Then our newest software, the 5th one, we just released, and it's called CitationWise. And it's an e-citation software that essentially turns like your mobile phone into a ticketing machine.
Gotcha. Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, tell us a little bit about the use cases. Who's leveraging it, and what are you using it for?
Really, any agency that utilizes dispatching, records management, and emergency response, I feel like those benefit the most from our product. That tends to be like police and fire departments, sheriff's offices, emergency communication centers, and even like college universities or ISDs, or which is independent school districts. We find that those are the typical clients that use our product.
Very good. Now, and who within those organizations would typically reach out? Like, who's the champion in a way that brings, ICS to the table?
Depending on the size of the agency, if it's a smaller town, in a rural area, then it might be an actual police chief or a sheriff for those departments. If it's in a city, it might actually be more like a sergeant or a captain that's kind of more in charge of finding, something to solve their pain points, and even if they don't know exactly what that might be. But yeah, the chiefs are usually more the final sign off. And then on top of that, you also have like city council that kind of intervenes with the actual budgeting process. So it gets complicated pretty quickly.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, that doesn't necessarily sound like the folks that would read a lot of blog posts in order to identify the products. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's definitely, I would assume it's a bit harder to reach them online. Like what do you guys learn about you? What's the channels that they're going through? Maybe tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so as you might expect, word of mouth is probably the number one way that clients or potential clients find out about us, mainly because they don't know where else to start. That tends to be a common issue that we've seen. So there's that, which is good because we have a good reputation, so that doesn't hurt us. Second, though, is probably like trade shows, which sounds so archaic in some regard, but they're so targeted. Like, for example, the Texas Police Chiefs Association conference. I mean, you can imagine like every single person that pretty much walks in that door is a qualified buyer, right? So it makes sense that like over these past years, like those type of physical channels have been so king to finding new clients. But as certain social leverage, like with Facebook or LinkedIn more so, we're finding that there are more opportunities to reach out and actually touch contacts through those. Now, some of those have been a hybrid approach, right? Like it's kind of like, reaching out, doing ad campaigns or different things like that can maybe draw people in to have meetings at conferences or, different elements like that. But as we're trying to establish more thought leadership type elements, whether it be through long form content, things that we want that we know that our targets would want to share with others. There becomes a brand recognition over time that we're trying to accomplish. That even currently is something that we're still in the initial stages on.
Very good. Now, what role do you then attribute to the website? How do you think about the website and the role in the buyer's journey?
Yeah, I think the website is a good place for. It can actually reach multiple areas of the funnel, if you will, because there is an initial what is this Athena ICS, or, and it immediately kind of, well, let's check out this website, and just, oh, okay, there's an awareness factor that plays a big role on it. But then if people are actually considering software choices and they're really kind of in that middle to lower stages of that funnel, then having our resource page when we have more developed content that can be downloaded and actually read through, that typically people that are just browsing and trying to learn about our company wouldn't really be ready for. There's still opportunity to have those things on that as well. And of course, trying to land demo, requests and things like that, there are elements of being able to just immediately have people who are like, I know what I want. I go to this website because I know I've heard of them, whatever. It's an immediate get in touch with our sales and like kind of get those wheels moving. So,
Nice. I mean, in that regard, like, because I like to ask marketers typically what they consider sort of a strength of the website versus where they see for improvement. How do you think about that? Like, what is sort of currently a strength in order to generate those demos versus where do you see further, space for development?
Well, I would say that our website has grown significantly in the last year on branded keywords because of the software, trying to get that more available and ready for search engine optimization, basically, or SEO. I should think that the audience of this podcast should know all those things. I don't need to spell them out, but I would say that there's this blurred line for us with the strength of the website, because I'm seeing that now as I'm going for non-branded keywords, that is moving into becoming a strength of ours, and really for the website in general. When people are like, man, I'm just looking for other options for computer-aided dispatch, and maybe I only know this one brand because it's all we've ever used, and I want to know what else is out there. The website's strength in that regard is an awareness tool that we wouldn't be able to do in any other way, right? Like, we don't know who we don't know who doesn't know who we are, right? But our website is that bridging piece that if we can really leverage organic keyword searches, then it actually becomes really strong in that. And I would say that would be where the strength is at least going to, if it's not already there.
Gotcha. Is there something that you've learned over the years, when it comes to driving conversions, any sort of methods, tools, approaches that you found helpful in that regard?
Well, my background was, before being a director here, was working at a B2B digital agency, a boutique type marketing agency. And like, what I found that, depending on the industry, and really depends on what kind of leverages that factor. For where I'm at now, there's things that I haven't gotten to try yet that I would like to, that I've seen success in previous roles that are in similar industries, like dynamic content or personalization through the website, based on either previously coming to the website or based on potential regional IP addressing. There are options that, in the end of the day, when it comes down to being able to segment as much as possible our target audience, and be able to personalize in those segmentations, have proven to really be the most effective way at converting.
Very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your journey as a marketer. Now, there's so much content out there, right, for marketers these days. With all the content out there, like, where do you find highly valuable information for yourself with all the noise?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, usually having an aggregate, I can't remember what tool I use, but any kind of tool where I can actually have multiple websites that will just pull the blogs from. So anything from like Moz or gosh, Search Market Land? I can't remember his name now, because like I put all these things in for like years ago, and so they kind of just feed into my feed. But there's certain things like that are just kind of like I can just pull up if I'm just kind of browsing. But there's other elements, like more recently, like maybe this is even more useful. There's kind of like, I guess, micro newsletter emails that have become more popular. Like I think I use like 1440, for example, for like general news, but then like one I use for kind of like technology and startup and kind of like newer elements or new technology, is something like TLDR. And I find like, and I'm it's not super helpful to tell you exactly all the information I'm getting on this, but I get random bits like, with AI being such a trending thing right now, like, there's so much I'm learning, just in the AI space, and how is that going to affect marketing in our future? And there's not really a real answer. There's just a lot of trendy things that are fun to play with that can help us, but where it goes, may or may not be scary. And then I'm also kind of a part of like an Adobe council. So like with learning about what they're doing, and how they're kind of pushing forward. And then, we use HubSpot. So I'm also getting emails from them, which is also really helpful. So it's a little bit of an information overload. I feel like I get tons of information from a lot of sources. But the micro, it's like, I call it like micro dosing, because it's like, you just get these headlines, and then it's like, I can just kind of pin things that I want to read later and just have like a whole list of stuff that, okay, well, these are very relevant from right now, or I know this is coming, that I can kind of come back to. I hope that's kind of helpful in
Yeah, for sure.
answering that.
Sure. I got some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those?
Let's do it.
What is the last book you read?
The last book I read, the last book I read was actually a Pierce Brown fiction novel, Red Rising.
What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Most focused right now would definitely be, well, this is boring, like lead generation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not boring. It's the lifeline of every company.
Yeah.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing you would fix for your role?
No boundaries. What would I fix for my role?
Magic wand for your marketing role.
Well, we're almost there, because like, if I would say, more, I would say the content creation elements, it takes the longest. And so hopefully with AI and moving forward, that could actually be a huge magic wand already in the making.
Yep, would agree. Very last question. If we do a little bit of time travel, right, and we go back to the days, let's say, of University of Central Oklahoma, right? We go all the way back. So now you're heading out of formal education into the world of business, growth, and marketing. What's the one advice you would give yourself for your journey?
I would say don't stress out too much about your degree, and I would say worry more. I wouldn't say worry. I would say focus more on getting the experience in the areas that you just love or are more interested in.
Very, very good. David, I really appreciate you took time with us to be a guest on Pathfang Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed on ICS and Athena, what's the one thing people should remember?
Sure. For our company, I would say we help officers save lives and stay safe. Our software, they make measurable and lasting differences for our agencies, and really, it's the officers, themselves, that we really help with immediate support, improving their awareness and increasing safety.
Very good, David. Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathfang Presents.
Thanks.